So, today we're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about black people's mental health. We're just going to look at a few statistics, right? You know, we love our facts, stats, and statistics. So, we're going to look at this chart first. 13.4% of the U.S. population identifies as black or African American. Of those, over 16% reported having a mental illness in the past year. That is over 7 million people. More people than the population of Chicago, Houston, and Philadelphia combined. And that's just the people that identified with having mental illness or reported having a mental illness. That isn't counting the people that didn't report it. So it's more than 7 million. More than 8 million. So, I want to point out a couple of these paragraphs here. Here, let's zoom in so you can see. Right. Historical adversity, which includes slavery. We can't forget about slavery, sharecropping, and race-based inclusive from health, educational, social, and economic resources translate into social economical disparities experienced by black and African American people today. Social economic status, in turn, is linked to mental health. People who are impoverished, homeless, incarcerated, or have substance use problems are at higher risk for poor mental health. Now, black people are impoverished, homeless, incarcerated, and clearly use substances. So we are at the highest risk for poor mental health. Despite progress over the years, racism continues to have an impact on the mental health of black and African American people. Negative stereotypes and attitudes of rejection have decreased, but continue to occur with measurable adverse consequences. Historical and contemporary instances of negative treatment have led to a mistrust of authorities, many of whom are not seen as having the best interests of blacks and African Americans in mind, which can impact our mental health. We wonder why we got so many mental health issues. Yes, racism, slavery, not being able to trust the justice system or cops. That plays a part on our mental health as black people. It even says next, black people and African American people living below poverty are twice as likely to report serious psychological distress than those living 2 times the poverty level, because exactly, poverty creates pain and struggle that a lot of people don't really understand. Adult blacks and African Americans are more likely to have feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and worthlessness than adult whites, which makes sense. We came from slavery. We usually grow up in broken homes. That contributes to sadness. Hopelessness. We don't feel like we can trust anybody, including the law. Worthlessness. That's how we get treated. If you see a knee on somebody's neck, you don't feel like you are worth something. Then we'll scroll down, because I want to get into the attitudes, even though there's so much good stuff here. Binge drinking, smoking, cigarettes and marijuana, use of prescription pain relievers, misuse are more frequent amongst black Americans, because we take more drugs to try to cope with our pain that we have to go through, that no one else actually thinks about or really care about or really do anything about or are going to stop the world to do anything about. That's why it's left up to us to learn what we are up against or what mental health problems we are suffering for, and then help each other. We may not be all licensed therapists, but we still listening to each other's problems and helping each other with the knowledge we do know, and helping each other's problems with the knowledge we do know. That can make a positive impact. Everybody can't get to therapy, but I'm sure everybody has somebody that they can talk to. I'm trying to make a space so we can work through this together. Then, we go down, because I wanted to read this one, right? Oh, yeah, you know this. Black people are overrepresented in our jails and prisons. Yeah, so if we are overrepresented in jails and prisons, then guess what? We're going to have mental health. Black people are more often diagnosed with schizophrenia. Exactly. But that's not what I was. Because less than 2% of American Psychological Association members are black or African American, some may worry that mental health care practitioners are not culturally competent enough to treat their specific issues, because we don't have enough people like us representing us. So we don't know that other people can handle our problems, because how can someone else tell me how it feels to get haunted by the cops? Or to tell me how it feels to know what it feels to be a modern day slave. Like, my grandmother is 77. She grew up with people that were in slavery. Like, this isn't too far removed. My friend just had a grandmother that passed away that was 90 plus. She lived during slavery. She was telling me she remembers seeing blacks being hung from trees as she's walking past. Their dead bodies just hanging from the tree. I was able to talk to that woman. It wasn't that long ago. And then this is a good one right here. Stigma and judgment prevent Black and African American people from seeking treatment for their mental illnesses. Research indicates that Black and African American people believe that mild depression or anxiety would be considered crazy in their social circles. Furthermore, many believe that discussions about mental illness would not be appropriate even among family. And that's why I'm trying to build this page, this circle, this social circle here. So you don't have to worry about it, I'm a real person. You are a real person. Whether we meet in person or whether we do this online, we still should be able to have a safe or a good enough space where we can at least talk about our illnesses, our mental illnesses, and there's no considered crazy. You're not crazy. You're accepted, you're understood, and you are helped. Then, lastly, when we come down here, right, I like this one. Nearly 90% of Black and African American people over the age of 12 with a substance use disorder did not receive treatment. So we usually never get help, and that's our problem. We usually don't get help. We have to be able to open up and say, I need help, and knowing that's what it is, knowing that someone out there cares, that will help us out a lot more. So of course there's tons of more information that we're going to go over in another video, but I wanted to just highlight a couple that I already looked at that I found very intriguing to me, so I want to share. And I hope that somebody feels a little more comfortable with coming out and maybe saying that they have maybe a mental illness, or not like a mental illness that makes you retarded or that makes you slow. No, we're not talking about that. Anxiety, that could be a mental illness. Depression, that could be a mental illness. Schizophrenia, that could be a mental illness. So all these things, I just hope that this helps us as Black people slowly but surely come together about our mental health and to be open and honest about it, so that we can heal together. If we can heal together, we can grow together and we can build together. Remember that.